ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगावराय ते। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। अच्छा, चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवनं महादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयागैर्विखचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मसनापनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम्। विद्यावधु जीवनम। Srila Bhakti Thakur explaining Shiksha Ashtakam, first verse. We heard the details of other meanings of the verse starting with Cheto Darpan Marjanam. And in the continuation, then we had some other Harikatha and the end of Kartik, and then we heard about Ras Leela on Ras Purnima night. So, continuation with Shri Bhajan Raise, Vidya Vadu Jivanam. The power of Shri Krishna Sankirtan removes the ignorance of the Jiva. Yeah. What is the ignorance of the Jiva? Avidya means Agyan. And Chaitanya Chitamit explains what is Agyan. Agyan tamer नाम कही कैतव भुक्ति मुक्ति वांछा आदि यही सब तार मध्य मोक्ष वांछा कैतव प्रधान जहाँ है दे कृष्ण भक्ति है अंतर ध्यान. Ignorance is Agyan. And what is Agyan? Chaitanya Chitamit says the desire for bhukti and the desire for mukti. To enjoy the material world and the enjoy for liberation. This is Kaitav, means deceitful propensity, cheating propensity. This is the ignorance of the Jiva. So, the power of Shri Krishna Sankirtan removes the ignorance of the Jiva, and then knowledge of one's relationship with Krishna arises. Ignorance is just like clouds. When a heavy wind blows, takes all the clouds away, and one can see the sun. But try to understand this analogy. Uh, Clouds cover the sky, the sun, but how we can see the clouds? With the presence of the sun. Understand? Sun is covered by clouds, but how clouds can be perceived? How clouds can be seen? Only with the presence of sun, even though it is covered. So Vidya Vadu Jivanam, the knowledge is there. When we say Krishna Prem is just there in dormant state, when we say Krishna Prem is there in all living entities, that means knowledge is also there. But now it is covered by avidya, maya. What is this? What is the form of avidya? Bhayam, Dutya Vineshita, the second absorption. Absorption other than Krishna. That's called second absorption. This is avidya. Tad vidya atmanajaya bhakt. What is that? Guru Devatma. The knowledge of one's relationship with Krishna rise. So the knowledge, what kind of knowledge? So that how we can get understanding of Krishna, that is called Krishna consciousness, but covered by avidya, ignorance. How we can know that this is ignorance? Only because of vidya, only because of knowledge. Just like I said, clouds are covered by sun. But how we are seeing clouds? Only with the presence of sun. Similarly, how we come to know that this is avidya, ignorance, and this is vidya, knowledge? Because of knowledge. Those who are in ignorance, they don't understand we are in ignorance. Those who have knowledge can see, can understand we are in ignorance. How we can see? Because of knowledge. That knowledge is covered by avidya, ignorance. But because of knowledge, one can see the ignorance. That's the power of Krishna Sankirtan. The Krishna Sankirtan reveals this. Understand? Knowledge is there. Avidya is there. But with the power of Krishna Sankirtan, one can see what? One can see avidya. Otherwise, one get engrossed in avidya, cannot see. I was hearing one lecture. Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharti Goswami Maharaj used to give an example. I was hearing this, that in one house, speaking about India, a maid servant used to come every day to clean the house. She had one child and she was raising one child. But she has very bad nature, the nature of avidya. She has bad nature of stealing. If she find any money lying on the table in the room, because of ignorance, she was stealing this, keeping in her pocket and looking here and there. And the householders, they are seeing this. They're seeing this, that she does this every time. Just one, like $1 or $2 note lying there, and she's taking and putting in somewhere in the pocket. Why householders not complaining? They always try to protect their money, to save their money and protect that, but sometimes Out of ignorance, they just keep on the table or somewhere. And she get this opportunity. She take this opportunity and she put in her pocket, in her bag. Why householders not correcting or not telling her anything? Because they need her. It's so difficult to get maid servant. So what to do? They were tolerating this. Okay, anyway, just she's just taking couple of dollars, couple of rupees. Doesn't matter, but she's working hard. Her work is very good. Hmm. And in this way, one day her son died. Small young boy died, and she was in grief for many days. She didn't came to work. After some days, she came to work, but her mind is not herself. She was not very happy. Her mind is absorbed in her son. Even while she was brooming, cleaning, her mind was uh, with her son. She lost her son and she was crying. Now, the householders thought, because they developed some relationship with her, good, nice relationship, even though she had bad nature of taking money. So they were thinking we can pacify her. And how we can pacify her? Just we will intentionally keep some notes here and there. Intentionally. Because she had this habit of stealing. So she can grab those notes and keep in her pocket and she can take. In this way, she will get some support. So they were acting good on her, with her, and they intentionally kept some notes, some on the table, some in another room. But tell me, a mother who lost her son, will she get attracted to steal the notes again? Why she was doing this earlier? For her son. Now she don't have son. So what is the purpose of stealing money? There is no purpose left. Hmm. Because she's only remembering and crying for her son. These notes are not appealing to her anymore because her mind is not with her. Her mind was absorbed with the son. Hmm. Totally absorption. This is avidya. Hmm. But another example, we see Arjun was in avidya. Was Arjun in avidya? No. Krishna wanted to have Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna, he made Arjun into delusion so that Bhagavad Gita can be spoken to Arjun. Arjun was also in grief. How I can kill my relatives? How can kill them, my brothers, my seniors, my superiors, my gurujans? Devotee never in grief. Arjun has full knowledge, but it was desire of Krishna. Krishna made Arjun into in this illusion so that Gita can be spoken. Not for Arjun, but for benefiting the entire world. Parikshit Maharaj cannot be in ignorance, but the but what he did looks like ignorant uh, activity by putting a dead snake on the neck of a sage. Looks like ignorance. Parikshit Maharaj cannot do this, but desire of Krishna. So in these cases, with the associates of Bhagwan, there is no ignorance. It is just by some uh, on a pretext of uh, making Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam descend in this world, they make them in ignorance. Otherwise, they are full of knowledge. So, when we see any kind of pastimes like this in the associates of Bhagwan, we can't compare that with ourselves. We are jivas. We are in ignorance. And that is because of, what is the reason? Bhayam dutya vineshita syat ipatasya viparjo smriti. Because of Maya, viparjo smriti, our remembrance, which is supposed to be with Krishna, we lost that. And different absorption takes over. When I say different absorption means other than Krishna. And what is that other than Krishna? Other than Krishna is the Maya. That's the source of ignorance. But with the strength, with the power of Krishna Sankirtan, overcome Maya. Devihi Ashu Gunumai Mama Maya Durattaya. Krishna says, I know my Maya is wicked, but Mam Eva Ya Pravadante Mayam Etam Tarantite. If anyone surrenders to me, can overcome Maya. Surrender to Krishna means in what form Krishna descended in this world. Krishna descended with as Krishna Sankirtanam, Abhinatva Nama Namani. Nami and Nam non-different. So, with the power of Krishna Sankirtan, removes the ignorance of the jiva, and then knowledge of one's relationship with Krishna arises. The clouds of ignorance goes away, and one can see things very clearly. Shri Krishna Sankirtan is therefore the life of all transcendental knowledge. Krishna Sankirtan is life of all transcendental knowledge, which has here been compared to a wife. Vadhu means Vadhu means wife. Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. That means Krishna Sankirtan is compared to as wife, because that's the life of transcendental knowledge. As wife is dear to oneself, okay. Similarly, the transcendental knowledge, what is saying? Means Krishna Sankirtan is very dear like a wife. Vidya, Vadhu. Vidya means knowledge, Vadhu means wife, Jivanam, the life. Understand? Through Sankirtan, the inherent identity of the Jiva manifests. What is the inherent identity of the Jiva? Krishna Sarup. Krishna Sarup hai, Jive Sarup hai, Krishner Nitya Das. The Sarup, the form of Jiva is eternal servant of Krishna. This manifests. How? With Sankirtan. And if by qualification one is fit to taste Madhurya Ras, he receives the pure spiritual form of a gopi. Thus, Shri Krishna Sarupa Shakti, which is the embodiment of transcendental knowledge, is compared to a wife or consort. Again, thus Shri Krishna Sarupa Shakti, which is the embodiment of the transcendental knowledge. Who is Krishna Sarupa Shakti? Radharani. So that Sarup Shakti is embodiment of transcendental knowledge. Means all transcendental knowledge is coming from or given by Sarup Shakti, which is Radharani. And what is Radharani's relationship with Krishna? She is consort of Krishna. Consort means wife. That's why Vidya Vadu Jivanam is compared to a wife or consort. So Vidya Vadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. What is Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam? Ananda we know, Buddhi means the ocean, Vardhana means increasing. Here another doubt may arise. Since the inherent nature of the jiva is infinitesimal, it may be assumed that his constitutional happiness is also infinitesimal, but factually it is not. When we say Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, Ananda means pleasure, Buddhi means ocean, Vardhana means increase, rise. How can a jiva can get ocean of bliss? Not possible. Jiva is infinitesimal, so small. So the Anand, the pleasure of Jiva, according to its constitutional position, is supposed to be also less and small. But say no, actually it is not. Actually it is not. Shri Krishna's Sankirtan unlimitedly expands the inherent transcendental pleasure of the living entity by virtue of the Haladini Shakti. Haladini Shakti means Radharani. She helped she helped that jiva to relish that ananda, that pleasure, mm, in extreme, not as the sarup of the form of jiva so small, infinitesimal. The pleasure is also not small, infinitesimal. The pleasure is high, or get the capacity to relish high because of haladani shakti, because of under the guidance of haladani shakti. In other words, when the living entity attains his purely spiritual form, Shuddha Sarupa, he will gain boundless transcendental happiness. You know, these are the questions which comes in the mind. Jiva is small, yes? But Gurudev used to explain, even though Jiva is small, but the potency in Jiva is very high, um, very huge, big and high, the potency of Jiva. It can reach to the stage of Radha Dasyam. Even though Jiva is small, but can attain the, to become a maid servant of Radharani in Golok Vrindavan, even though Jiva is small. Similarly, uh, even though Jiva is small, but the potency to enjoy, I would say not enjoy, but to relish that spiritual pleasure is very high. That's the nature. Uh, uh. So when the living entity attains his purely spiritual form, he will gain boundless transcendental happiness. How? What kind of happiness? Pratipadam Purna Amrita Swadanam Aswadanam. Upon attaining his Shuddha Swarupa and being eternally situated in one of the transcendental rasa, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya or Madhura, The jiva relishes the sweetness of Bhagwan's form and pastimes in an ever new way at every moment. Pratipadam Purna Amrita Swadanam. Each and every step complete uh, Aswadanam, relishing the form of Krishna, the name of Krishna, the form of Krishna, then the qualities of Krishna, and the pastimes of Krishna. But it has to be start with the name, first of all. Developing the taste in chanting Harinam, holy name. What is the name? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. प्रभु कहे कैलाम इहा महामंत्र इहा जपे गिया करी सर्व निर्बंध इहा होते सर्व सिद्धि हईबे सवार प्रति खन बोले इते विधि नहीं यार की भोजने की शयने की व जागरणे अहर निश्च. So Mahaprabhu said, Prabhu kahi kailam iha mahamantra. Only by this mahamantra. So this proves that this is sanctioned by and given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Jiva, living entity, relishing, first of all, it starts with tasting the sweetness present in the name. Then come the form, then the qualities, and then the pastimes. So first of all, we have to develop that attachment. It is not spontaneous. We need to develop that by practicing, chanting every day. There is no limitation how much you can chant. But we say, okay, everyone have to chant 16 rounds a day. 16 rounds a day. But by chanting 16 rounds, we think, oh, we are accomplished and everything is done. That means there is no taste. And we are doing out of some duties. Yes, I promised my Gurudev I will do this. That's why I'm doing this. There is no natural inclination to all the time chant Harinam. So either we can do on our beats, the prescribed number of rounds, and other times we can just verbally we can chant, even if there is no beats in the hands. This makes practice. And the point comes, a stage comes when even without knowing, Harinam keeps on moving because tongue get addicted with chanting Harinam. If you try this 1 week, you will see the difference. Just make your tongue all the time chanting Hare Krishna, and you will see when you are not even focus or concentrate on chanting, without beats, the tongue is continuously vibrating and chanting Harinam. This becomes addiction. नाम स्फुरते है रूप गुण कर्म. नाम स्फुरते है. With the name, the roop, the form, the qualities, and the pastimes manifest. That's the verdict of the scriptures and our Gurujans. We have no realizations so far, but this is how it works. In other words, he relishes, the Jiva, living entity, relishes the nectar of service to Nanda Nandan Shri Krishna in his two-armed form, holding a flute and dressed as a cowherd boy. This is the Jiva relish, this the beauty of Krishna. in the proximity of Krishna. Sarvatma Sanampanam. At this stage, when the Jiva's heart is completely pure and devoid of any selfish motive for personal enjoyment, he naturally enjoys the transcendental bliss of the loving pastimes of divine couple. When the Jiva heart is completely pure and devoid of any selfish motive for personal enjoyment. Means chanting also not for personal enjoyment. Worshipping Krishna also not for personal enjoyment, but rather in a mood of service to Krishna. This matters a lot. What is our mood of doing this? What is our mood while we chant? Serve Krishna or to get benefits from Krishna? So in whatever mood we are chanting, our mood gets fulfilled. Because Harinam is Chintamani, Nam, Chintamani, Krishna. Nam is like Chintamani means touchstone. Whatever we ask from Nam, it fulfills the desires. Yeah. In his internally contemplated spiritual form, the Jiva serves them as a maid servant of Srimati Radhika, who is the embodiment of Mahabhav, the very essence of Haladani. Haladni sar prem, prem sar bhav, bhave parakashta naam, Mahabhav, Mahabhav Sarupani, Radha Thakurani. Okay. Embodiment of Mahabhav, the very essence of Haladni. Who is that? Radha Rani. The two words Sarvatma Sanapanam have been used here to indicate supreme purity, completely devoid of the false, of the desire to merge into Brahman and the desire for selfish sense enjoyment. Sarvatma Sanapanam, why are these two words used in the last? To indicate supreme purity. What is supreme purity? There is one thing called purity of the body. And many people, they don't even know that. So purity of the body, purity of the mind, and all those impurities covering the soul. Purity of the mind is done by cleaning the body. But many people don't even know this. They don't even do this. So now we are discussing very high subject here, but I have to come very low level to make everyone understand. Devotees asking questions saying, we hear philosophy, how much it is important to maintain the purity. And that question was been asked on that eclipse night, then why we have to shower after the eclipse? How many times we have to shower in a day to maintain that purity? How we have to maintain purity at home? So very basic, but many devotees, they're not even aware of those basics. But there is no harm. There is no harm learning those basics. Now this is kind of workshop we can do at retreat. Cannot explain on the screen. And I did many times in retreat. I think now I'm feeling I've done retreat 20 years back. Feels like that. It's been so, looks like so many years we're not doing retreat. But these basics, very important for the purity, to maintain purity at home, to maintain purity with the body, and it will help in maintaining purity of the mind. Sarvatma Sanapanam, used here to indicate supreme purity. But this purity is what I'm saying, is still on bodily concept. That's very important. But here, purity means completely devoid of bhukti and mukti. Bhukti means enjoying material world. Mukti means enjoying liberation. How we can understand? Because we have no idea what is this liberation about. We know enjoying cake because we did many times. We have understanding of enjoying good sleep. We have understanding of enjoying going outside scenes. And whatever it is, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Many kind of enjoyment, right? We have idea, we have understanding because we've gone through those enjoyments. What is that enjoyment? The desire to merge in formless effulgence of the Lord, Brahman. We have no idea, but there is some big, huge amount of enjoyment to get merged into that source of enjoyment, the source of bliss, I mean, Bhagwan. So much enjoyment is there. One becomes enjoyment. Now we say we don't need, but when we taste a little bit, everyone wants to get merged into that. We are not even able to give up the small enjoyments, but this is extreme enjoyment. If it comes on our way, we can't give up, as we not able to give up other enjoyments. That means still impure. All this counts as impurity, even to this level of merging into impersonal Brahman. There are many sects in India. They preach about this. They practice this. They preach about this. And they're very generous. They give donation. They help people in so many ways. And they think by doing this, we are getting pure, we're maintaining purity. But actually, they think like that. But actually, just the desire to get merge into that Brahman is what the desire is itself is impure. Bhukti and Mukti, two coverings. Sarvatma Sanapanam. But with this Krishna Sankirtanam, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. All victory, all glories to Krishna Sankirtanam. With this, the purity can be maintained. Or in other words, the impurity can be wiped out. The desire to enjoy, the deep root in the heart, desire to enjoy, and then desire for liberation. Bhukti Mukti Vancha Adi यही सब. तार मध्ये मोक्ष वांछा कैत pradhan. Amongst all other kind of enjoyment, the enjoyment one gets in liberation. That's the topmost. But here, Mahaprabhu explains this is not maintaining purity. This is a kind of a hurdle. This is kind of impurity, which covers the pure bhakti. So then what to do? Pray to Harinam Sankirtanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. All this manifests and happens when one performing, taking shelter of Krishna Nam Sankirtanam. Text 12. I'm going a little fast. We have not finished one chapter yet. The 7th verse of Sri Rupa Goswami's Namashtakam describes the holy name as the embodiment of concentrated transcendental bliss and knowledge. Concentrated transcendental bliss and knowledge. What is that holy name? My Guru Maharaj used to say, at the end of chanting, one should always recite this mantra. In the beginning of chanting, Guru Maharaj used to say, we should chant, what is that verse I sing sometimes? From Rupa Goswami Namashtakam. Nikhil Shruti Moli Ratamala Duti Neradita Pada Pankajanto. If you see in the the songbook index, Rupa Goswami Namashtakam. He composed verses on glories of Harinam. So Guru Maharaj used to say, when you start chanting, pray to Harinam with this verse. Nikhil Shruti Moli Ratamala Duti Niradita Pada Pankajanto Hai Mukta Kulai Upasmanam Paritastam Harinam Sanshayami. Start with this, and when you end up Harinam, this verse. Sudit Ashrita Janardi Ashri Ramya Chitghan Sukha Sarupine Nam Gokul Mahotsav Te Krishna Purna Vapushu Namo Namaha. What is the meaning? O destroyer of the numerous suffering of those who have taken shelter of you. What is Harinam is compared to as destroyer of numerous sufferings. Now, many details of this word suffering. O embodiment of delightful transcendental bliss. You are embodiment of, you are means Harinam Prabhu. Shri Harinam. Embodiment of delightful transcendental bliss. And Harinam is also great festival for the residents of Gokul. Golokera Premadhan, Harinam Sankirtan. What are the residents of Gokul they do? We heard the Dam Bandan Leela. What Yashoda Maya is doing by churning yogurt? Chanting the name of Krishna. Yadone Avane Lepane. While milking cows, while applying cow dung on the floor, on the ground. What they do? They always absorbed in the transcendental bliss of chanting Harinam. So Nam Gokul Mahotsav Te Krishna Purna Vapushu Namo Nama. Nam is the festival. So everyone is in festival there. It's not that, oh, Nanda ke ghar Anand bhayo, Jai Kanaiya Lal ki. Only when Krishna got birth, there was festival. Or when Ras Leela took place, Ras Utsav Sampravatto Gopi Mandal Mandita. The festival of Ras Utsav, not only by the birth of Krishna, or not only just the Ras Leela festival of Krishna, but in Gokul, every time is a festival. Yashoda Maya, she did festival when she saw Krishna took one side, turn on one side. Krishna always lying straight, but one day he turned around. Maya wants to do festival. Krishna is the center of that festival. Similarly, the name of Krishna is the center of the festival of the residents of Gokul. Naam Gokul Mahotsav Te Krishna. Purna Vapushu Namo Namah. To make this habit. In the beginning of chanting, as Guru Maharaj used to say, chanting thus. Nikhil Shruti Moli Ratmala Duti. In the end of chanting, Sudit Ashri Janadi Rashi. What is that? Chidghan Sukh Swarupine Nam Gokul Mahotsav Te Krishna Pun Vapushu Namo Nama. If you recite this every day, you will learn in 1 week. And this will become a habit. So, O great festival for the residents of Gokul, O all-pervading one, O Krishna Nam, time and again I offer respects to you who are replete with these qualities. Shri Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in accordance with this Nam Ashtakam, he formed some verses. आश्रिता जनेर सबा आरती नाश करी अति रम्य चिद्घन स्वरूप विहारी गोकुलेर महोत्सव कृष्ण पूर्ण रूप हेन नाम नामी प्रेम पाय अपरूप नाम कीर्तन है सर्वनर्थ नाश सर्व शुभोदय Krishna Prema Ullas. How wonderfully Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he composed something similar to that Namashtakam of Prabhu Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, the name of Krishna removes all kinds of distress and sorrow for those who have taken shelter of him. But I am still in distress, but I am still in sorrow. Even I am chanting Harinam. And here Mahaprabhu is saying, the name of Krishna removes all kind of distress and sorrow. Mahaprabhu cannot tell lie, but I'm not feeling this. What is my problem? For those who have taken shelter of Harinam, that makes the difference. You understand taking the shelter of someone? Like a child, take shelter of the parents. Child cannot function independently without the support of the parents. Learn to speak, learn to walk, learn to run. So many things learn. How come? By taking shelter. Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj used to give example. He was mentioning about Indian trains, or we can say any train, any part of the world. A small baby can't even walk, or just we can say started walking, and he leaves the hand of parents and go further in the train. Mother runs after the child. Why? With a fear that he may fall down, with a fear he will get hurt somewhere. So child is not worried, mother is worried. Because child have taken shelter of mother and father. When the child become 20 years, let's say 16 years old, and if he just sitting with parents and move in the train, will mother father run after him? No. Because now he's not dependent. Now he's independent. He's grown up. Bhakti, devotional practice makes us from the grown-up stage to the stage of child. What does this mean? The consciousness like a child, not actually child. It's not that we will shrink and become a small baby, but the consciousness of a baby. What we learn from the small child? Purity. Child is pure. There is no enviousness, there is no cheating propensity, there is no lust, there is not that kind of anger. There is pure consciousness. Another point from the child we learn is surrender nature. Can't even eat. You have to beg and cry to mother and father to eat. Can't walk. Needs support of parents to walk. That means complete surrender. Shilamara used to say. In this case, child is not worried. The guardians are worried. And Maharaj gave example like Arjun in Mahabharata. He take up vow that tomorrow I will kill Jayadratha. Was it Jayadratha? Before sunset. Jayadratha? Tomorrow I will kill Jayadratha before sunset. And by announcing this in front of everyone, that day, sunset, the battle was over. The conch was blown, the battle was over. And Arjun is sleeping so relaxed in his camp. But Krishna, so restless he can't sleep whole night. He can't sleep whole night. Whereas Arjun is sleeping. Hilamara said, what's the difference? Arjun is surrendered to Krishna. Krishna got worried. How if Arjun is not able to kill Jayadratha before sunset? He said, I will set myself into fire. I will give up my life. And Krishna cannot tolerate this. Krishna don't want to lose Arjun. So who got more worried? Arjun has no worry because Arjun is surrendered like a child to Krishna. But worry is of Krishna. Whole night Krishna was not sleeping, was not able to sleep. Thinking, what shall I do? What can I plan? All these twists and bends. What I have to do to make Krishna, Arjun alive and to make Jayadratha present there? So Srila Maharaj gave this example. Arjun is surrendered to Krishna. Right now, all this distress and sorrow and this worries is because we are not dependent. We are grown up. But while chanting Krishna Nam Sankirtanam, it's not that we will shrink and will become baby, but our consciousness will become pure like baby. And the consciousness become like a child, where a devotee don't have to worry. Krishna has to worry for devotee. Example, Shri Madhavendra Puripad. The vow of Madhavendra Puripad that I will never eat anything else other than milk. I will only drink milk. I will not eat anything else. That was the vow of his life, throughout his life. And also, I will not ask anyone to give me milk. But if someone give by themselves, then I will drink that milk. Imagine how strict vow, how difficult vow he took. And Shri Madhavendra Puri, he came to Govardhan and he was sitting under one tree. Krishna cannot tolerate this. My devotee is hungry, and this is his vow. He only drink milk, nothing else. And only if someone gives to him, he can't even ask anyone. This is called ayachik vritti. Ayachik vritti will not ask anyone, but only if they give. The Krishna came and gave a pot of milk, saying, Baba, Baba, I know you are hungry. Drink this milk. My mother, she came here to fetch water from the well. She saw you sitting here, and mother gave me this pot of milk to hand over to you. So drink this milk. Madhavendra Puripal thought how he came to know I'm hungry and I want milk. Whose worry was that? Krishna's worry, not Madhavendra Puripal worry. When Sri Raghunath Das Goswami is chanting, without any shelter of a tree, any shade of a tree, in scorching heat, under sun, then Radharani covering Sri Raghunath Das Goswami with her veil. Because Raghunath Das Goswami, consciousness like a child, surrender, fully surrender to Radharani, the names of Radharani. Then who get worried? Radharani get worried. Shri Bilmangal Thakur, he pierced his eyes, he became blind. So whose responsibility is now? For whom he became blind? Krishna. And Krishna took his hand in his hand and took him to Vrindavan. So there are many examples like this. This is called surrender. Who have taken shelter of the name of Krishna removes all kinds of distress and sorrow for those who have taken shelter of him. Because we have not, that's why we don't believe this. Oh, I'm chanting. Still, I'm in distress and sorrow. Oh, really? You're chanting? Yes. How many rounds? Yes, 10, 16 rounds every day. Really? Yes, very big thing. And when you chant 16 rounds, are you absorbed in that chanting? No, sometimes. And most of the time, oh, just Facebook and sometimes watch movie or a football match. And you're thinking Krishna will take off your distress and sorrow. Have you taken shelter of that Krishna Nam? This is the meaning of taking shelter. Like a child, like a baby at home. Taking shelter of parents. Fully surrender to them. Whenever parents want to feed the child or take him out or whatever, child has no independence there. It is called fully dependence. And it starts with Harinam and then Krishna. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Shri Harinam Prabhu Ki Jai.